Inspector Lewis found the footage of a fancy dinner where a famous actress was almost poisoned. He analyzed the video and came to a quick conclusion of who was the culprit. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out who tried to poison the celebrity? The picture clearly shows that the second lady was the culprit. You see, the lady decided to wear gloves so she wouldn't get poison on her hands and poison herself. Besides, if you were to poison someone, you would have to make the food look presentable. And if you take a look at the First Lady's soup, it looks pretty terrible. Alex needed to get across a park in the middle of the night. He walked fast, until out of nowhere a hooded man came up to him and knocked him out. The next day, Alex went to the closest police station to file a report. When he got there, the police were interrogating 3 suspects, Ben, Michael, and Bernie. The detective gave each of them a marker and asked them to write down their names. As soon as they finished, he arrested the right person. How did the officer know who to arrest? The test wasn't all that random after all. Alex was hit from the right side, so the police were trying to figure out who was left-handed. And among these 3 guys, the only left-handed one is Bernie. On a moonless night, Mary decides to watch a horror movie before going to bed. She passes out on her couch, and the next thing she knows, she wakes up in a haunted castle. She hears screeching sounds and screams all over the place. She walks carefully to the kitchen, where she finds 3 suspicious meals ready to be eaten. Take a look at the plates. Can you help Mary figure out which of these plates is poisoned? So, the French fries look relatively okay. The cake has a spider climbing on top of it. But hey, it's protein, right? But the meat, oh, the meat has a strange liquid coming out of it. That's the one that's probably poisoned. The airport police are having a lot of trouble these days. Many convicts escape prison and are trying to leave the country as fast as they can. Take a look at this image. You gotta figure out ASAP who the fugitive is. It's the lady on the right. Although the woman in the wanted poster is blonde, she must have dyed her hair brown to try to get through security. But her lips and freckles are exactly the same as in the picture. Something weird happened to Johnny's wedding day. He was busy tackling some last-minute problems when he slipped on a banana peel. How comical. He hit his head pretty strongly, but when he woke up, he didn't know where he was. He lost his long and short-term memory, and uh-oh, there were 4 different brides in front of him, but he didn't know who his real bride was. Take a look at the image, and first of all, try to rule out which of these brides is actually life-threatening to Johnny. Did you see the hidden poison jar on that bride? The bride on the left is probably pretty dangerous. He should rule her out first. Jane and Brendan really didn't like each other. They were sharing a flat because they were short on money. What Brendan didn't know is that Jane had some evil plans. She planned on poisoning one of his meals, since she was the one that always prepared the food. One day, she cooked the same piece of meat for both of them. She cut it in half, ate her share, and gave him the other part. After he ate it, he started to feel really bad and was taken to the hospital. The question is, how did Jane manage to survive while Brendan got sick? Jane put poison on one side of the knife, which was the piece she gave Brendan. Take a look at this image. Who do you think is being more careless here? It's the girl on the right. She's almost falling out of the boat. She should move to the middle and help balance the weight. And what about in this image? Who do you think is being irresponsible here? Let's see, it's the person on the right. The snake is too close to her face. It could hurt her, while the crocodile is simply interested in the meal the man is feeding him. An old lady was shopping at the mall when she saw something strange. She looked at a woman all dressed in orange at the cashier and shouted that she was seeing a prisoner that must have just escaped from prison. The woman in orange felt really confused, called the police, and got the old lady kicked out of the mall. What exactly happened here? The woman was dressed in orange overalls. It was just a fashion trend, but the old lady mistook it for prison clothing. In a parallel reality where humans, witches, and all types of beings coexist, Jenny and Lawrence were playing hide and seek. They were inside a huge old mansion. Jenny spent hours looking for her friend until she stepped inside the study. There were footprints up until the middle of the room, and then they disappeared. The only window of the room was open. Take a look at the picture. Can you figure out what happened here? Lawrence was a shapeshifter. This explains why the footprints didn't reach the window. Plus, look at the bird food on the floor. He probably shapeshifted into a bird and escaped. Katie got lost in the desert. She walked for hours when suddenly she came across a huge oasis. But to reach the main waterfall where she could drink some water, she had to cross a bridge. There were 3 bridges leading to the same place. The first bridge was far from the ground, and its rope looked like it could rip at any second. The second bridge had some hungry-looking alligators crawling on it. The last bridge stood above a lake full of poisonous water plants. Which bridge should she choose? The last one. The bridge stands above a poisonous lake, but she won't touch the water when crossing it. A group of friends rented a fancy villa for a vacation, right on the seaside. When they arrived, the hostess offered them cake and drinks. They chatted and ate the delicious cake, when suddenly 2 of them started to feel really bad. They were immediately taken to the hospital, and the doctor said they found poison in their bodies. Take a look at the image. How did the other 2 friends survive after eating the cake? That's easy. The poison wasn't in the cake. The poison was on the drinks the hostess served them. If you look closely, the friends that felt sick drank what the hostess offered them, and the others didn't. Oh my! Mark, Bray, and Livia are doing terribly financially. So they walked into a local supermarket looking for the cheapest thing to buy. One of them was planning on stealing something. But hey, can you figure out who just stole something? It was Livia, the little girl. She's hiding something in her shirt pocket. Can you see? Sarah was window shopping at her town's local mall when she saw her husband Tom inside one of the clothing stores. She got confused because he was supposed to be at work, so she went inside to confront him. "What are you doing here?" she asked him angrily. Tom said he was picking out an outfit for his company's end-of-the-year party. Sarah immediately shouted that he was a liar and that he was cheating on her. How did Sarah know? Looking at the fitting room, there's a woman behind the curtains. And also, look! Tom has a lipstick stain on his polo shirt. The 5th of December is Bloomfield Town's contest day. This year, the mayor has picked baking as the main theme, So the contestants need to bake the best dessert to win. The only rule is that bakers can't use sugar in their recipes, only natural sweeteners. When the mayor approaches the contestants to pick the best dessert, he immediately disqualifies one of the bakers, saying they have cheated, and the mayor claims this without even having tasted the desserts. Take a look at the contestants and see if you can spot the cheater. Look at the third woman in the row. Her cake is literally covered with powdered sugar. She was disqualified because she broke the no sugar rule. Beth and Mary sent selfies to their boyfriends, saying they were enjoying some alone time in the park. Take a good look at each of these selfies and guess which girl is cheating on her partner. In the first picture, we can see Mary treating herself to a lovely picnic by the lake. But hey, if she's alone, what is a pair of men's shoes doing in the corner of the photo? Mason came home one day and told Julia that he was going to be transferred to a research lab in Antarctica. He was beyond happy to get this job offer, so the couple decided to try a long-distance relationship. Julia asked Mason to send her as many pictures as he could, and that's what he did. After a month, Julia sent the guy a text saying, "We're over, Mason. I know everything now." Take a look at the pictures Mason sent Julia. How did she know he'd been cheating on her? For starters, there are palm trees in some of the pictures, and there are no palm trees in Antarctica. Mason must have photoshopped them, and he'd been lying about where he was all along. Oh, and in this picture in the middle, there are 2 glasses of wine on the kitchen counter, and one of them has lipstick stains on it. It's finals week at Sunshine High, and the students are nervous. On the day of the physics exam, the principal enters each classroom to personally check if there are any cheaters around. As soon as he enters classroom 2B, he spots a student cheating and suspends them immediately. Take a look at the classroom. Can you tell who the cheater is? It's that guy who's sitting with his legs crossed. He wrote some information on his calves and checked it when he needed help. Eddie was planning a fishing trip with his boss. He asked his wife, Elena, to pack his bag and put enough clothes for a week. She packed everything he'd asked for, including his fishing rod and fishing box. A week later, Eddie came back from his trip. He and his wife sat down to chat, and he told her all about his adventures. When he finished telling different stories, he asked her why she hadn't packed any pajamas for him. Elena immediately he had lied to her. Take a look at this image. How did Elena figure that out? Because she put his pajamas in the fishing box. This means that Eddie didn't even open his fishing box during the past week and lied about where he had been. 4 applicants were ready to take an extremely difficult entry exam. 1 hour into the exam, one of the contestants was disqualified for cheating. Take a look at the security footage on the day of the exam. Can you tell who was cheating? It's that guy on the right. If you take a look at his ear, he's wearing a small plug and a camera device. With the help of this gadget, he probably sent someone his exam questions and got the answers. At Silverstone Elementary School, the teachers are adopting a new methodology for testing their students' knowledge. They allow the students to take their books to exams. They can consult these books freely on test days. This won't be considered cheating from now on, but on the day of the history exam, Sophie's teacher catches her cheating in some other way. Take a look at the picture. Can you guess how Sophie is cheating? Sophie is hiding her cell phone inside her book. I guess that's not very smart, huh? Harry and Terry's girlfriends went away on a business trip for the weekend. During the whole time, each of the couples were texting and sending each other pictures. On Sunday morning, both girlfriends asked their boyfriends to send them their selfies. Harry sent a selfie where he was smiling in the kitchen. Terry sent a selfie from the bathroom. One of the girls knew immediately that their boyfriend was cheating. Who was the cheater, and how did she know? It was Harry. Take a look at the lipstick mark on the glass standing on top of the kitchen counter. Melanie and her husband John went shopping on a lovely summer day. They bought a lot of new clothes. John liked his new jacket so much that he put it on right away. On their way home, they met Lisa, John's colleague from work. The next day, Lisa came over to their place. She told Melanie that John was her boyfriend and that she could prove it. She showed Melanie a picture of her and John in the park together. When Melanie asked John about it, he denied everything, and Melanie believed him. Take a look at the picture Lisa showed Melanie. Can you tell why John's wife believed he was innocent? In the picture, John is wearing a jacket he bought just the day before, but look at the trees. It seems to be winter. There's no way the picture can be real. Lisa has probably photoshopped the whole thing. Bob and Alice have been married for 5 years. Bob has always been jealous of his wife, and the couple often fought because of this. Once, Bob decided to hire a private detective. He asked the detective to follow Alice around and take pictures of her. For an entire month, the detective followed Alice wherever she went, to the movies, to coffee shops, to the supermarket. Later, the detective gave Bob all the photos. The man's worst nightmare came true. He realized Alice had really been cheating on him. Take a look at the photos. How did Bob know his wife was a cheater? It looks like Alice has 2 different cell phones in these pictures. She probably uses one of them to call her boyfriend. Cassie and Maddie are playing cards. The game is almost over and Cassie is winning. Maddie accuses Cassie of cheating, but Cassie says Maddie is lying and that she just doesn't like being a loser. Take a look at the girls. Can you tell who is lying? Cassie is lying. The cards she has hidden under her dress are peeping out from under it. Maddie is telling the truth.
4 friends, these guys, Jack, Michael, Andrew, and Tom, went to a restaurant and ordered a meal for a total of $80. They agreed to split the bill equally. But it turned out that Tom had forgotten his wallet and couldn't pay anything, and Andrew only had $10 in cash. So, how much must Jack and Michael pony up to cover the entire check? Initially, each person was supposed to pay $80 divided by 4, or $20. But Tom pays nothing, and Andrew can only contribute $10. It means Jack and Michael have to cover $80 minus 10 equals $70. So they have to split this $70 and pay $35 each. Then they show up at Tom's house to collect what's owed them, or he ends up in a trunk. Hey, just kidding. Now, you need to figure out a 5-digit whole number that reads the same forward, backward, and upside down. Its second digit is half of the third one. The 5th digit is the product of the first and the last ones. And the sum of all the digits is 10. You can pause the video to crack this puzzle. This number is 10801. On a freezing cold January day, a man called the police and reported a car accident. A police officer who arrived to investigate had a coughing fit, so the driver opened his car and gave the officer a bottle of water. Then he told the police that he had parked the car near his house the day before. But when he came back the next day, the hood was damaged. The man claimed his neighbor had dropped some ice on his car while cleaning his roof. The neighbor denied these accusations. So, who is lying? The car owner. If his car had been outside for the whole night, the water in the bottle would have frozen. A bank has been robbed. The criminal, wearing a mask, ran outside right into the middle of a festival where many people were dressed exactly the same. How can the police figure out who to chase? The woman on the left is a happy bride, wearing a ridiculously large ring, proudly showing everyone that she's about to marry a wealthy man. The man on the right is an astronaut. He got a tattoo of his mission because he loves his job and misses space. But the woman in the center is suspicious. What's inside that stroller? Well, that baby has a very odd shape. She hid the stolen money under a blanket, hoping no one would question a mother with a stroller. Eric got lost in a museum. While he was trying to find a way out, it got late. All the doors were closed. Finally, he saw 3 staircases. The first one was all covered in bizarre nettles with razor-sharp leaves and long spikes. The second had giant stinking flowers with a stench almost impossible to bear. And the third staircase was an impassable jungle of cacti. Which staircase should Eric choose? He should go down the second staircase. Even though the flowers are gross, hey, they're harmless. David loved mountain climbing, but his mother considered his hobby too dangerous. Once David's friend invited him on a rock climbing trip. David knew his mother would be against it, so he told her he would go fishing at the nearest lake. The woman agreed, but asked him to send a photo of him fishing. Hey, not much trust there, huh? Once David arrived at the foot of the mountain, he photoshopped a fishing photo and sent it to his mother. As soon as she saw it, she immediately realized it was a fake. How come? The woman knew it was snowing outside. It meant there had to be snow at the nearest lake, too. Mr. Brown's sons found their dad unconscious on the floor of his office. The detective questioned each of the brothers separately. The eldest, David, said that when he had come in to feed the fish, his father had been fine. Marcus said that he had come in to discuss his business plans, and his father had given him great advice. And Lucas, the youngest, said that he had come to ask his father for his car to impress the girl he liked. The detective immediately realized who was lying. Have you figured it out? David said he had come to feed the fish, and indeed there's an aquarium in the office, but there are no fish in it. Someone got into Matthew's house during a severe rainstorm and took a lot of expensive stuff. The man called the police. They came over and started to interview the neighbors. Nicole said she lived alone and worked from home. She was inside the entire day. Jerry explained he was a chef in an Italian restaurant. He came back from work only a half an hour ago. Sophia told the police officers she hadn't left home because she was ill. Who's the thief? It's Nicole. She claimed she had been inside the entire day, but look at that wet umbrella in the corner. A man had a book that was worth $50,000. There were only 2 such books in existence. He threw the book into the fire, turning it into a pile of soot. Why did he do this? He destroyed the book because he had both copies. After destroying one of them, there was only one left, so its value immediately went up. Detective Adams arrived at the Museum of Modern Music because someone had stolen the legendary shoes that belonged to Elvis Presley. A museum guard told the detective that they had reviewed the footage from security cameras and found out that all the visitors had come in and left empty-handed. Detective Adams examined the footage and said he knew who had stolen the shoes. Have you figured it out? It's the red-headed guy. When he entered the exhibition, he was shorter than the other visitors. But when he was leaving, he was as tall as the others. He must be wearing Elvis's high-heeled shoes. Jacob and his brother Jack were walking along the street. When they passed a grocery store, Jacob pointed at a young woman and said, "Look, my niece is over there." His brother answered, "Oh, right, but it's not my niece." "How come?" The young woman is Jack's daughter. The faster you run, the harder it is to catch this thing. What is it? It's your breath. Jane lived in Bangkok with her husband Daniel. Once, she told her husband she wanted to visit her aunt living in Poland. Daniel didn't mind, but he asked his wife to send him a photo as soon as she got to Europe. When Helen landed in Warsaw, she sent Daniel a selfie. After looking at the photo, Daniel realized his wife had lied to him. How did he know? In the picture, the clock on the wall shows the same time as the clock in the kitchen, which is in Bangkok. If Jane were in Poland, the clock would show a different time because of the time difference. The best player of a local volleyball team disappeared right before the game. The coach suspected 3 players from the rival team. Jackson said he had just returned from the gym, where he had been warming up before the competition. Leo had to pick up his wife and their newborn daughter from the hospital. And Ryan claimed he'd fractured his leg, and the team doctor gave him a massage. Who's behind the player's disappearance? It's Ryan. Getting a massage when your leg's broken? Doesn't seem like the wisest move to me. Dorothy worked as a maid in a rich family. The woman called the police and accused Dorothy of taking the jewelry. Can you help the girl prove she has nothing to do with the theft? Dorothy was not very attentive while cleaning the house. One of the rings is under the sofa, and the other is in the fruit bowl. You know, actually, it's the wife who's not attentive, but I digress. When do you look at number 2, let's say 10? It happens when you look at your wristwatch. Hey, meet Mark Silver. He's a famous space detective who flies around galaxies figuring out the toughest cosmic crimes. Today, you're on a mission to help him. A rare artifact was stolen from a base on Mars. Mark is on the case, and he has 3 suspects. All of them claim they've never been to Mars. Look at them attentively and try to figure out who might be the criminal. Look at the man. The soles of his boots are dusted with red, and Mars is often called the red planet because of the color of its soil. So the man must have lied about never having visited Mars. Suspicious. Mark is sent on a mission to a planet where all the inhabitants look different. When a group of locals meets him at a spaceport, he realizes that one of them is an impostor. Who is it? It's this creature with 8 arms and tentacles instead of legs. See that zipper on the left side? It must be someone else, maybe even a human, wearing a costume to disguise itself as a local. Maria, an astronaut's wife, has come to Mark because she thinks her husband is lying to her. A week ago, he told her he would fly to Jupiter to deliver rose petals to a local community. He even sent her a few photos when he arrived there. But Maria has some doubts. After examining the photos, Mark confirms the girl's suspicions. Her husband isn't on Jupiter. How did he understand it? Look at these rings behind Maria's husband's back. Only one planet in our solar system has such large, prominent rings. And that's not Jupiter, but Saturn. Once Mark was piloting a spacecraft, yeah, you can do that too, when he realized he was running out of fuel. He checked the nearest planets where he could get some fuel. The first one was freezing cold. The temperatures were insanely low. The second was boiling hot, so hot that even metals would melt there. And the third planet was super acidic. Which is the safest option to get some fuel? Mark should opt for the first planet. He'll be inside his spacecraft, so the cold won't harm him. As for extremely high temperatures and acids, well, they can easily damage his spaceship. The leader of a mission on a distant planet asked Mark to come and help him figure out one tricky case. He has 3 newcomers, and he suspects that one of them is an impostor and hasn't come from Earth. Can you help Mark understand which astronaut isn't human? The man in the middle might look like a human, but he isn't wearing a helmet. It means he's not from Earth. But that's not all. Look at the woman on the right. Her oxygen tank isn't connected to her helmet. She isn't human either. Mark arrived at the moon because someone had been stealing astronauts' belongings from a lunar base on the far side of the satellite. After investigating the case, Mark ended up with 3 suspects. Julia told him she had been working in the lab all the time. Hannah told him she had seen someone's footprints circling around the base, but later they had disappeared. The wind must have covered them with sand. And Lucas explained he had been busy with software repair. Who is the criminal? Well, the moon has no atmosphere. That's why there's no air or wind that could lead to erosion. That's why footprints couldn't have vanished. So, Hannah is lying. Why? Astronaut Kenny was on a spacewalk when he found out that his safety tether wasn't connected to the spacecraft. Luckily, Kenny managed to survive and get back to the ship. There, he contacted Mark Silver, claiming that it was his crew member, Margaret, who had disconnected the tether. When Mark arrived, he questioned Margaret, but she denied her involvement. She even claimed that she heard Kenny's cries and rushed to save him. Mark didn't believe her and detained her right away. Why? Space is silent since there's no air or atmosphere to carry sound waves. Even if Kenny had been shouting, no one would have heard him. Space pirates once captured Mark and locked him in a cargo compartment. The door has a password lock. To get out, Mark needs to remember what the biggest planet in the solar system is. He has 3 choices: Saturn with its rings, gas giant Jupiter, and ice giant Neptune. Could you help him choose? Well, Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system. In fact, it's so big, it has more mass than all the other planets combined. Mark's friends came back from vacation and started sharing their experiences. Pete said that he had climbed an ultra-tall volcano on Mars. Daniel was happy that he had seen the Great Red Spot on Jupiter. And Thomas was super excited because he had managed to swim in a lake on Saturn's largest moon, Titan. Mark understood right away that one of his friends was lying. Who was it? It was Thomas. Even though Titan has lakes on its surface, they're filled with methane. You can't swim in them. Look at this picture attentively and help Detective Silver figure out what's wrong with it. This landscape definitely looks like the surface of the moon. But then, what is there in the sky? One space body is obviously Earth, but the other looks like another moon. One day, an insurance agent visited Mark Silver. She was almost sure that one of her clients wanted to commit insurance fraud. Apparently, he claimed that his spaceship was pulled into a white hole while he managed to escape using an emergency pod. Detective Silver agreed to help the agent since he immediately realized why the claim was fake. Have you figured it out yet? Well, it's black holes that swallow everything that comes too close. At the same time, white holes expel matter and energy. So a white hole wouldn't be able to pull inside a spaceship or any other object. One day, Mark was on vacation on a distant planet in a faraway galaxy. He was floating in a glass pod over a sea of blue lava when he spotted an object in the sky. It was getting bigger and bigger. Mark had 3 ideas about what it could be: a comet, a black hole, or a rogue planet. Could you help him figure out what this space intruder is? Well, it can't be a comet since comets have long tails. It's also unlikely to be a black hole since they are invisible to the unaided eye. So it's probably a rogue planet once kicked out of its home system and now wandering the universe. Mark was visiting his friend on his spaceship and accidentally locked himself in his room. To get out of it, he needs to solve a riddle. There are several buttons near the door. Each of them has a planet on it. Mark needs to press the button with the planet that is unique. Do you know which one it is? Mark needs to press the button depicting Uranus. It's the only planet that spins on its side. Now, Mark wants you to crack a few riddles on your own. Look at this picture. This girl has just landed on the moon. Can you spot 2 weird things that make this adventure seem fake? First, the girl isn't wearing a helmet, but on the moon, it's impossible to breathe without it. And secondly, the wind is blowing her hair, but there's no wind on Earth's natural satellite. Now look at the planets of the solar system and say if everything is fine with them. Uh-oh. It seems Jupiter and Saturn have switched their places. And finally, the last general knowledge challenge for you. Which planet had its status taken away almost 2 decades ago? Proxima Centauri b, Pluto, Uranus. Well, it was poor Pluto. In 2006, it was reclassified into a dwarf planet, after being considered the 9th planet for a long time. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.